Do you remember back a couple of months ago where we showed you the rot that was in the chain locker at the front of the boat?
Oh, okay. So here we go. First thing, in the chain locker, you can see all that black. So that's wood rotting out. These are the other two big plates there where our anchor's attached. And some of the bolts for the railing are starting to kind of pull through the plywood and the fiberglass.
Well, that rot was the main thing that led us to hauling out, as it was compromising our forestay, which was a large potential hazard. Having to deal with that rot would have been enough, but, of course, we found out there was much more rot than we had expected once we started to tear into the project. The support beams were rotten and a drain had been improperly installed, which had caused water to leak into the balsa core of the boat, rotting out part of the balsa and causing a bunch more to be saturated with water. So the best solution we could come up with to make sure we got rid of any future rot issues was to tear out the balsa core and replace it with fiberglass. Layers and layers and layers of fiberglass. For those of you who don't know, balsa is a type of wood often used to thicken hulls of boats. Although it is great in theory, it very often turns into a rot issue when not sealed properly, especially because it is soft wood that easily takes on water. Initially, the plan was to attempt to do the fiberglass work through this little doorway into the chain locker, but Logan quickly discovered that it was going to be much too small of a space to work through and decided to temporarily remove the bulkhead. It was once he was really inside the chain locker that he realized the drain had been improperly installed and was leaking directly into the core, making the project a much larger one than initially expected. So began the process of rebuilding. The first step was to remove any rotten wood from the railing support. Then began removing the layers of fiberglass which encapsulated the balsa core, and then removing the balsa core. As you can imagine, with a hand chisel, this was a long process.
Logan just finished prepping the chain locker. We'll finish grinding all of the old fiberglass out. So this is what it looks like. So as you can see, we took that plywood out off of the deck. So it was plywood, balsa, and more fiberglass that he had to cut out. And then he did the same thing on the hull, and then ground it all down so that it's kind of feathered. And soon we will put fiberglass into all of that. We are also going to create a fiberglass bulkhead. It used to be a wood one. And then we should hopefully have a new chain locker that won't leak and won't rot our boat out any farther. Also, he has this lovely fan system rigged up. Seems to work pretty well.
Then began the layers of fiberglass. The first task was to bring the part of the hull which was chiseled out up to the same level as the cone of the hull. This meant building a ½ inch of fiberglass through alternating mat and row fiberglass fabrics. Alternating the two types of fabric creates a structurally strong, hard plastic layer.
Well, the boat is officially a construction zone. This. Logan is just prepping everything so he can lay the fiberglass tonight, and I guess this is to keep the fiberglass off the floor.
So here's the process of applying fiberglass. First, Logan created templates so he could cut out proper shapes and sizes for each layer of fiberglass. Next, he takes his pieces into the chain locker and mixes 2-part polyester resin. Then he wets the wall with a layer of poly resin for the fiberglass to stick to. Next, he adds a piece of fiberglass and wets it with resin until it is saturated. Then he adds another layer, usually the second type of fabric, and wets it again. Once he has done this to as many layers as he is applying, he rolls it out with this, to get rid of any trapped air and ensure all the layers of fiberglass bond together. Then we let it dry.
Starboard side done. You can hardly tell the difference on camera, but this side's all wet. This side needs 3 more layers of fiberglass. That's what's up.
Once dry, it needs to be lightly sanded to get rid of all sharp edges, and then acetone for cleaning before the next layer of fiberglass can be applied. This process was repeated numerous times in order to fill the chain locker and ensure that the hull was nice and thick.
Okay, so this is it. So all that's left to do is right there. All that has to be filled. That's the chunk that we cut out because it was rotten. And then right where that line is there, we're putting in the new bulkhead. And the new bulkhead will have a little door on it. And that's it. Once those things are done, we can put the carpet back up, and then we move all of our stuff from the aft cabin into here, and we live in here while we do stuff in the aft cabin and the deck. Yeah, so pretty exciting that it's moving forward. Also, all those holes that you saw have to be filled, and then new ones drilled for like all the stuff that's getting put back on that you saw earlier in the video. So yeah, pretty exciting.
Thanks for watching and supporting our videos with your likes, comments, and channel follows. We aren't experts at this whole project video thing, but we are trying to get better. So let us know what you liked and what you would like to see done better in the comments below. And subscribe to receive a notification when we post part 2 of this project.